everyone, hope you're all well. How's your May going? Mine's a little bit up and down, but I'm pleased to be here to talk to you about some of the things that I'm loving currently at the moment. And please, if you've got any new top tips or finds, please let me know, because I love it the way you interact down below in the comments, because it's just a really nice way for me to view how you interact and like the things that we can exchange. It's such a weird conversation, isn't it? Me talking to a lens and then evoking all this lovely beauty chat, but that's the way that it is. But yes, if you've got anything to offer, please join in, because now is the time to share those new top tips. So I've got a nice selection of things that I'm using and things that I'm loving and things that might be helpful. So thank you very much for all the comments. Re the laser, skin is, you know, looking fine, feeling fine. I'm just trying to ignore it at the moment and just let it do its thing so I don't sort of overanalyze it. But in terms of makeup, I have kept it quite limited. So I thought I'd show you what I was using and what I've found that's worked, in case you have gone through a procedure recently and you want to introduce a little bit of colour but you're not sure how to do it. I have found that it's better to use products that are, that are solid. I haven't really put lots of liquid on my skin. The only kind of liquid that I've put on my skin is SPF. And then I feel kind of like super protected. As I said before, I've been using the HelioCare mineral, which I talked about in the last film, which has been absolutely brilliant, SPF 50. But for the rest of my skin, I've been really loving the Merit complexion stick, just because it is so simple and easy to use. And because it is quite thick, it gives good coverage, but it doesn't travel so far. And I don't really want to have a lot of product. I've put most of the product that I've been using on my face just with my fingers. I haven't really wanted to get any brushes involved. I mean, I'm pretty good at cleaning my brushes, but I just want to keep my skin as clean as possible. That's not to say that brushes aren't clean. It's just that obviously my skin has been attacked with the laser. So I just want to make sure that I'm treating it as gently and as kindly as I can. That's not to say that you can't use brushes. I just haven't been. I've just been using the pads of my fingers to put on a little bit of coverage. And I've just been very, very simply patting it in on the redness. Now, I haven't really used it on the sides of my face. I don't think that I really need to, compared to what I had to do before. And this is fine, like for work and going out and about, just kind of like limiting that redness down the front panel of my face, which is definitely minimal. With that, I've been fine with. I've really enjoyed using the Anastasia Beverly Hills, I think it's called like a beauty balm. Let me just see. Yes, it's beauty balm, and this is shade number 6. Comes in like that kind of like deodorant style. And just for the front of my face, I've just literally wiped it across like that, and then sort of blended it in over my eyelids. It's creamy, it's solid, it's slightly reflective, but I just feel that it just gives my skin that even finish that I like, without it feeling overloaded with product. And it blends quite well into the skin. I wouldn't have said that it's good for a dry skin, because obviously it's like a solid finish, but I have to say it melts into the skin really well. Now, my skin isn't necessarily dry, but obviously because it's had the laser and it's renewing itself a lot, it can look a little bit dry. But this has worked out really, really well for me, so I thought it might be helpful. Then in terms of blush, I've gone with the same format, and I absolutely love, well, firstly, the packaging. They've come in all different shades. I'm going to get some more shades to show you. This is Cheek Thrills by Morphe, and you've probably seen these online, where you have a powder, a shimmer and a balm, and you mix all the shades together, and it is so, so pretty. So this one is a very kind of like, the top one here is a very sheer, kind of warm peach. And I've just thrown that across the front of my cheeks. It's a bit like the Beauty Balm, the Mario Balm, the one I use that's got the bronzer in, which is really nice. I tell you what though, when I put my blusher on now, and I'm not sure whether you can see, it feels like the colour is like sort of ice skating across my cheek. It's so smooth. I think that high point of my face is where I can kind of like see and feel the difference. It sort of looks very, very airbrushed. You can then amp up the colour with the powder, but again, it breaks down into a cream to show you, and that kind of just gives you more of a highlight. You can see that there. So it'll give you more of a plumpiness, more of a kind of sort of modern Gen Z texture to your skin. You see, oh, look, that's beautiful. Rather than it being just sort of like glassy and hydrated, this just looks like slightly metallic. And then you can give it a little bit of a pop with the powder. And all three shades, she says, that looks quite dappled, all three shades blend well together, depending on, sorry, not depending on anything. You can put them on in any order and it doesn't matter. They all blend really well together. There's obviously been a thing where you can only put cream on, then powder, and powder sets it. But with these, the powder blends really well. With the cream, there's lots of things on TikTok about different brands that, you know, you can mix it up. And I think a lot of young people are changing it up. And so long as the formulas aren't too drying and aren't too oily, you get that lovely kind of finish. So that's been my cheek. And I've just loved that. And I've found that I haven't really touched my skin. See, around the nose, it can get a little bit dry still, but you know, I'm pulling hairs. I really am pulling hairs. Luckily, I'm not pulling hairs out my nose just yet. Okay, so that's a little bit of my skin. Now, should I finish the makeup or should I go off? I'm going to talk to you, I'm just going to go off on a tangent now. I'm going to talk to you about a brand called Nudie. Now, I'm sure I've mentioned this brand to you before. It's actually geniusly developed by a friend of mine who was a dancer for Kylie Minogue back in 2002 when we were on tour. And now she's had many businesses since. She's a real genius, and this is quite fantastic. Nudie is a spray that you spray on your thighs or tummy wherever you take off your HRT patches. So I actually use a spray for my HRT. I don't use the patches just because that's where I've sort of ended up going for no reason at all. That's what I was recommended. And when I went down the HRT route, that's a whole nother video. And it removes the stickiness because so many women take it off and it's like, it just is really hard to remove. I'm sure if you are that person, you know. It comes in this little pouch with the pad and you simply spray the Nudie spray onto your skin, wherever you have the patch. You take the pad and you just remove it like that and you have smooth skin. Obviously that's a rubbish demonstration, but I'm not really going to stand up in my knickers. My friend does though, to explain it, and she does it brilliantly. So if you have a great annoyance about having sort of like stickiness that's collected, lots of fluff from your clothes and that you can't remove and it's really fiddly, so you just end up chucking another patch on top, then this might be your new best friend. It's absolutely genius, and I wanted to share it with you. So that's that top tip. My body top tip as well, second body tip, is a brand that I've just been working with. And now I know for my followers in America, you'll be very familiar with this brand. This is called First Aid Beauty. Now, First Aid Beauty is a brand that solves beauty issues, whether it's chafing or ingrowing hairs, or in this instance, keratosis pilaris, which is a very common bumpy skin issue, mainly under the arms. You can have it on the outer thighs and shins as well. But this is a very unique body scrub because unlike any other body scrub, it has a physical and chemical exfoliator in it. So it's got lovely grains of pumice in it, and it also has 10% AHA. This is the new, oh, haven't got the new one. The new one, not this one, it's got a little peach in the front, is a peach fragrance, and it's really nice and very addictive. But if you want smooth body skin, brilliant again if you're doing a fake tan, because it doesn't leave your skin with an oily residue, and you have to have a sort of a bare skin before you put the colour on. You don't want anything else as a barrier, so it's brilliant before tanning as well. But yes, the Bumper Razor Body Scrub from First Aid Beauty is lovely. And I think we do need to kind of treat your skin just with a little bit of TLC before you get your shorts on. I've had my shorts on now, got over that phase. They've got a little bit, they're not so sort of bluey grey now. They're kind of just like a pale colour. So I feel a bit better with my legs now. Anyway, definitely when the skin feels lovely and soft, they've got a matching body cream as well to go with that, which is new, which has a further 10% AHA. So if you get the double, then it's even softer, and just keep hydrating. But I know it's a big issue. Okay, so back to my just simple makeup. I've got a lovely friend called Ree, and she has a brand called Reason. I've talked about this before, and this is her lid elixir, which is pretty much what I wear on my eyes if I'm going to work. It comes out like this. It's like a tiny creamy liquid, like so, and I put it on with my finger in the centre, and I just blend it over the lid. So it feels wet and it feels slightly cooling, but it dries just at this kind of like, almost like a third, just slightly darker than my skin, just a little bit. It's not a third shade, it's not a third darker than my skin. It's just like a little smidgen darker than my eyes. But it just gives a nice, I think it's probably only a makeup artist thing. It just gives, as in we're so kind of aware of like different textures and different finishes. That's what gives us the kind of like creative joy. Again, just dabbing with my finger, it blends super easy, but it just gives a real freshness to my eye because it feels fresh. It doesn't really dry matte or anything, it just looks like that, but I really like it. And I use that a lot when I'm at work, or I just want a very, very simple makeup, but just wanting to have a little bit of like soft texture on my face. Next up is a mascara I haven't used for a long time, but I've fallen back in love with it. It's called My Mascara Ultra Black Volumizing and Lengthening by Sculpted by Amy. I had this years ago when they launched, and she just sent me another one, and I'd forgotten how much I loved it. It's a really great formula, a really nice quick payoff, not for the natural lash, but for those of us who like to get a really great definition and shape to our eye by simply putting on mascara. Because the brush, the silicone brush, is deeply embedded with lots and lots of bristles, but it's also got the channels to allow lots and lots of mascara to sit beneath the bristles. You can get lots of mascara on, but because the bristles aren't long, it's not going all over my lid. So that's good. So that's like 2 coats that side, you can see the difference. It's a really good price point as well, this mascara. And it stays put. Just always have to really make sure that you drag. I don't think we pay enough attention to where we're placing mascara and really dragging it through the lashes. So be really conscious of pulling that mascara through like you are taming the hairs on your head, for instance. Just bringing that mascara through the lashes, like so. Super simple. I really do nowadays just keep my mascara, unless I'm doing a smoky eye, to my top lashes. I just find that it's much more lifting and a fresher look on me. I tend to find now as I'm getting older, when I put the mascara down below, it just tends to sort of drag my eyes down. It gives me much more of a lift. I don't know whether you've ever found that. And if you've never even thought about it, put some mascara on one eye, just on one side, and then do it on the other side and see how it looks, see which looks better. Sometimes it's really good to compare what we do on our face on one side and on the other. And if you're thinking, oh, should I change this, or would that blush look better higher or lower, or the mascara, or whatever it is, just compare it to one side of your face and maybe even take a picture and have a look at it. That might be able to be a good little trick to kind of give you the confidence to change up your makeup. I definitely just prefer it just a little bit more lifted now. But talking about the smoky eyes, when you're doing lots of colour and darkness around the eye, you always need your lashes to stand out over the colour of the eyeshadow. I'm sure I know I've talked about this 100 million times, because otherwise you'll make your eyes look small. And it's always trying to follow the trends and enjoy makeup and celebrate being able to paint your face depending on your mood, but also always maintaining and amplifying your natural beauty. That's why we bother, right? Really, gosh, you see the state of my fingers, probably, hopefully not. I'll try and move them quite quickly so you don't pay attention, so don't freeze the screen. I've had Biab for 6 months, I think. I've loved it, really loved it. You just give yourself, even with a tea towel after you've washed up, they're like bing, and they all come back to scratch. Really, really nice. And I think because obviously it makes your nail more solid, you don't get any hangnails, or the skin around your nails, if you are a little fiddler, stays much better. So it looks much tidier on the whole. But I just felt, we've got a holiday at the end of May, and I felt like I just wanted the sun to get to my nail beds. Is that a stupid thing? Is that just something that I'm being ridiculous about? If anyone's an expert nail technician, I felt like the sunlight needed my nails after the long winter. The sunlight needed my nails. My nails needed the sunlight even after the long winter, and then maybe they'll grow strong again because they're quite short, but I've been really trying to look after them. I haven't really found anything that's kind of making them solid and look great, but I'm going to put cuticle oil on every night. And see if that makes a difference. In terms of colour, Nails Inc., I've talked a lot about this on my Instagram, have got this one step gel manicure. So it's base, colour and top coat all in one, and you just need one shade. So that's been quite good in terms of getting, well, just not faffing around. I just move too much to wait for 3 coats to dry. So that comes in an array of colours as well. Any nail tips, let me know. And then lips. Oh my goodness. Now this is a really exciting launch. This brand, Vive, who I've talked about a lot, Jamie Genevieve. She's got a huge platform on YouTube. I've only met her very briefly. She was adorable. Wanted to scoop her up and be best friends. And it's so lovely when you meet someone who's appears to be incredibly modest, but really sort of focused on bringing out cosmetics that work for women. And she started on the counter, behind the counter, which I did. And I think it makes a huge difference when you have that sort of base understanding of the desire of women and what they want makeup to do. And when you're working on 1,000 different faces every month, you really get attuned to what tones work, what textures people need, require. Anyway, that was her background, and she's got this really successful brand now. She's created this lip formulation called Poutster. It's 4 shades. I've been using most of them. It is such a unique shade. This one is called Pinky. I think it's going to be like the wedding colour of the year, but it is the texture that is just so nice. It's a matte texture. It feels really, really silky, and it's buildable. So let me just show you. Comes like so. Before I do the top lip, Can you see how the formulation has really smoothed out the texture of my skin, of my lips? I've got quite bumpy lips. They often look dry. I think they've just lost volume over time. It's basically what it is. And this texture really softens them, so they almost look retouched. It's actually called Pinky, but I thought this was Bellini. There's another shade that's like a lovely beige. I should do more of the shades to show you. So soft. And it doesn't feel layered. I'm going to chuck in a little bit of Max Factor Brown and Nude liner. Let me just see if I can give a little bit of definition to the eye lip. So I've worn this out and about. Of course you need a touch up, but it hasn't dried my lips out like throughout the day or throughout the evening. Obviously I've just lost the colour. It's quite a nice match with that liner actually. Max Factor Brown and Nude. How lovely is that? I really want you to feel this texture. What a lovely combination. So satisfying. So that is my lip. I've also been using a lovely combination of my favourite Merit oil in Biarritz. And I just blended that over the top. And it's lasted really well. So I kind of got like 3 different options. But the colours are very, very nice. She puts them on her channel. You can see them. But it's a lovely, clean, fresh, simple makeup, which I feel confident in. I don't feel like I've got a lot of skin product on. I mean, who knows? You know, when my peeling, my laser peeling properly finishes and I kind of evolve as this beautiful reptile, maybe I'll be one of those girls, like I said in the video, that just rocks out the door with nothing on their skin apart from SPF. Who knows? Anyway, that's what I'm loving at the moment. Have I forgotten anything on my table? No, I think I'm good. All right. Well, love to you all as usual, and I'll see you next week. Bye for now.